Thank you, Joanne. Um, just stand there first, or you?
Well, no, just by way of introduction. So we've got an hour and a half slot before we break at 10:30. So we've kind of gone through introductions. The first bulk of it is going to be on website, and that's going to be Maria. So really, if you kind of look at between, website for a parish and Facebook or social media, the bulk of the time is really going to be on the website. Just because it's, there's more to it than opening a Facebook page. And so that's going to be Maria. And then we'll transition to the Facebook, and I'll look at a little bit of other social media, and then we're wrapping up with Q&A. Okay, just to kind of give you the lay of the land of the next hour, or an hour and a half.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so thank you, Joanne, for that introduction. And as you heard, I was housekeeper and cook at St. Thomas of Becket for 13 years, and I had no formal training whatsoever in building and maintaining a website or doing any IT support. So when Elizabeth sent me the email asking me to give a talk today, I laughed like crazy. I said, like, me? I mean, what do I have to say? So, yeah, but because my daughter did the design of the Becket website, and my husband did all the programming. So anyway, the day after I spoke with Elizabeth about this, I had an email from Catholic Web Solutions. It's one of the blogs that I subscribe to. And the title was 14 Tips for an Evangelizing Parish Homepage. And I guess it's just like he was telling me, go ahead and do this, I mean, this gave me material for my basic material to present to you. So yeah, it was a sign. Anyway, so just before I begin, I just want to let you know we're going to be posting the PowerPoints, my notes and whatever, on the Becket and St. Luke's resources page, so you don't have to scramble and take notes. Okay, so let's begin. All right, so why have a website and Facebook page? As the Pope says, communication is a means of expressing the missionary vocation of the entire church. Today, the social networks are one way to experience this call to discover the beauty of faith, the beauty of encountering Christ. In the area of communications, too, we need a church capable of bringing warmth and of stirring hearts. So basically, Pope Francis is recognizing the importance of social media as a way to communicate and spread Christ's message to everyone. As you saw in the agenda, there are two parts, so I will start. Okay. This is what I'm going to be talking about. So there's quite a bit to cover. So let's begin. All right. So the parish website has the potential of being a great and effective communications tool. It's accessible from anywhere, by anyone, at any time. It can be visited by any number of people at any single time. So unlike the bulletin, there are no space limitations, and changes can be made quickly. Pages can expand or contract or be added or taken out as needed. The only limitation is that it's not accessible to those who don't have computers or have no internet or no phones or whatever. So anyway, yeah, so an effective website, it must be easy to navigate, engage the viewer visually, should provide interesting content, and should be current, accurate, timely, and relevant. So we'll go into those as I go through my presentation. Okay, so it takes more than one person in order to build a website. Unless you have a small organization where there's not much happening, you will need a team of people to be able to create and maintain it. A lot of time is spent on planning, gathering information, organizing what to put in, writing the text, deciding the details like colors, layout, spacing, etc., and actually creating the pages and building the infrastructure. It's an ongoing project because it has to be updated, like we said earlier, and it has to be updated often. If the information provided is not reliable, then it will not serve its purpose and people will not visit it. So at St. Luke's, I work with the communications committee and in deciding what to do with the site. So it's a whole group of people that I work with, it's hard because there's so many things going on. So the most important thing to be aware of is that it takes a lot of time. You can't do shortcuts. And if you spend the time in planning, it might be easier, but It still takes a lot of time. Okay, so the first individual that is needed is the webmaster. Generally, when you say webmaster, it refers to the technical person that's responsible for maintaining the infrastructure of the website. But for a church community, the webmaster takes on additional roles. He's like a broker who coordinates all the different elements needed to create a dynamic and vibrant website. He keeps his eyes and ears open and is sensitive to the needs of the community and tries to respond to these needs. He gathers information and encourages members of the community to supply content and make use of the site as a communications tool. Very often people, especially regular parishioners, don't think of going to the site. So it takes time and effort to promote the site and get them, make them get into the habit of visiting it. But you have to give them a reason to visit. So you have to provide information or features that they can't just get from the bulletin or, from parish announcements. And, a lot, maybe you have more details or, pictures, anything that they would be interested in. So then the webmaster has to work closely with ministry experts. These are the people who are active in the church and who make the decisions and policies. And they will probably be and hopefully be the source of your information so that, it should be accurate. And these would include the pastor, the pastoral team, parish staff, the fabrique, faith formation coordinators, your PCLs, adult ed coordinator, or maybe youth minister, whoever, if you have PPC, and you have all the group leaders and all the event organizers, you have to work with all of these so you can get the correct information.
What's a PPC?
Parish Pastoral Council? Yeah, I guess you don't have one.
I never saw it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. A major part of the webmaster's job is gathering information that needs to be posted. Once gathered, it has to be written in a way that is concise, accurate, and engaging. Writing for the web follows a different set of guidelines. So I'll expand on this in the, later on. I have a whole section on how to write for the web. But you can see, like, the text needs to be interesting, informative, and you have to proofread. You don't want to. You don't want to have like funny things on the website. This is public, so you have to make sure it's all correct. The next thing you will need will be people who will contribute photos and videos. Images play an important role in building community and imparting the joy and camaraderie that should be present in each and every parish. One sure way of attracting people to visit your site is by posting pictures of them at church events, So, the old adage, pictures are worth 1,000 words. A well-chosen image can capture and reflect the dynamic spirit of the church. And there are a couple of things, though, that you have to be aware of when you're posting pictures of people. Yeah, make sure the people don't mind being put online, because there's some people now, they're, but nowadays with Facebook and with everybody's online. It's not as big an issue as it used to be. The other one is be careful about posting pictures of kids, because you don't want to put their name. Unfortunately, it's something we have to be careful about. Yeah, and images should not be too big, otherwise it will take too long to load. So you don't want to be sitting there just waiting for the picture. I mean, for the page to load just because of the pictures that you have. Anyway, I'll talk more about this later. Okay, so design is determined by the needs of the parish, and it should be driven by ease of use rather than flash and glitter. You don't want the page where fancy graphics dominate the page and do not have space for the important information that most viewers are looking for. Often the web designer and developer are the same individual or company, but not necessarily. For the Beckett site, it was my daughter that designed the look and feel of the site. And my husband did all the programming and is the one who actually built the site. At St. Luke's, he was both the designer and developer. So really, he should be the one here, not me. Yeah.
Both program development and in my role as husband.
Behind every good woman is a good man.
Anyway, care should be taken in choosing a designer and developer. At St. Luke's, before we came into the picture, I was told that they'd been trying for 7 years to get to build a site. They actually tried, they first tried getting volunteer, and then they hired a student, and it just didn't turn out. So and then 2 weeks ago, I got a request from St. Kevin's, asking me to build and to maintain their site. It's a big job, so I had to decline. Anyway, but it's not the end, As you know, there are many alternatives now. Unlike before, when we started in 2004, we didn't have all these ready-made stuff. So now you can build without any technical knowledge. Okay, so any questions so far? Yes.
Are you doing this as a volunteer, Maria, or are you getting paid for this?
Am I getting paid, or am I doing it as a volunteer? I'm doing, for Beckett, I was started as housekeeper and cook, so I was paid as housekeeper and cook while I was doing this.
And as you're no longer housekeeper and cook.
And no longer housekeeper.
Are you getting paid as well?
A retainer of, yeah. I should put it smaller. Yeah. Yes. St. Luke's, it's all volunteer.
Oh.
Yeah. So, anyway, all right. Any other questions?
I had a question.
Yes.
In terms of how much time should you expect to devote to setting up?
How much time should you devote?
Basically, I'm asking you to quantify a lot.
It really depends on the vitality of the parish. Yeah. So, it can be a lot of, it will show in what you have. Yeah, setting it up is short, but it's, yeah. Yes?
So for a parish, let's say, that doesn't have the resources or the time to go find a web designer or web developer, are there any services out there that can do that job?
That's the next, Okay, that's the next part. Okay. Any others? Yeah, we'll go ahead then. All right. Okay, so let's assume now that you have all these talents and you have the materials, you have the information needed to create the site. Okay, the first thing you will need will be a web server. That's not necessarily the same as your internet service provider, your ISP. That would be Videotron or Bell or whatever other service provider you have. The web server is the company that will host your website and make sure that it stays online. There are literally hundreds of web hosting companies out there. And I just Googled, I put Canadian hosting companies, and I got this long list. It's long. What I have here are just the top 6. That's what could fit in my slide. And as you can see, the prices were they vary considerably, and the services they provide are quite different. Time should be spent comparing and researching these companies to see which one fits your particular parish's needs. For Beckett and St. Luke's, we're using a company called hostmds.com, and we're paying about $6 a month divided between the 2 parishes, so it's $3 a month for each parish. So it's not really, in terms of financial input, it's not a lot. And there are also a number of free web hosting services, but often in order to offer it for free, they put ads. So I'm not sure if you want your church to have ads for Viagra or something.
Comic relief.
So the next thing you'll need is a website builder. This is the program that will enable you to create a site. There are now lots of sites which use templates that can be customizable to your needs, and many times without much technical knowledge needed. It doesn't normally take too long to start a site, like I said earlier. It's just actually starting it is really simple. What could take long is choosing, like they have templates, and you choose a template, and they have hundreds of them. So just going through and deciding which one you want is really Like a lot of the time, could already be spent on that. So it's hard to quantify. Yeah, if you just go through the first 6, oh, I like that, then you have no more time. In no time you'll have something. So yeah, what takes long, as I said, is customizing it. And most of the time, these sites also double as the web server, so you may not need a separate service. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't have any personal experience with any of these web builders because my husband did all the programming, But the former youth minister at Beckett was very satisfied with Wix. Try again. There, okay, there we go. There. So, it's simple. And there you have your site. Yeah, so, it's really a cut and paste, and yeah, so it's not too difficult. The other website builder that's fairly common also is WordPress.com, and it's also quite intuitive and it's easy to use. But I find that it's more like for personal blogs rather than a website. But if you want a simple website, then this would also be, good to use. I actually helped somebody set up a blog, and literally it took 15 minutes to set it up. You just had to choose. She chose the template, like the sixth one, and then, we registered her, and there she went. She had the text and pasted it in, and it was there. Yeah, gave the title, whatever. So, anyway, what do you call this? Oh yeah, the St. Luke site uses CMS Made Simple, and I'll talk about that more later. Okay, so now. The next thing you will need is a domain name, which would be like stluke.ca or beckett.ca or stedmunds.ca or whatever, So it has to be something that represents the parish name. It should be easy to remember and easy to spell out. I mean, like at Beckett, we used to have stthomasbecket.org. So the secretary, after several years, said, please, is there anything we can do? It's always so long and so hard to spell out. And so we changed it to beckett.ca. So it seems to work very well. Everyone's happy now. Often there's a free domain name that you get with a website builder or the website provider. But it's better to keep it separate in case you're not happy with your provider, then you can at least move to another one and it's not tied to them. Because sometimes what they do is they offer it free, but if you move out, then they charge you a big moving out, and you don't want to change like your domain name to something else just because it's tied to that particular website provider. Okay, but if you want to learn more, just Google it, I mean, yeah, again, I'll be posting this so you don't have to write everything down. Okay. Oh, yeah. So for the 2 sites that we use GoDaddy as our registrar, and we pay about $10 per year per domain name. So again, it's not a big expense. Which one? GoDaddy? Yeah, it was in one of the slides earlier. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now another thing you should know about is that there are a number of programming languages like HTML, JavaScript, PHP, which is the code that the browser, your Internet Explorer, your Firefox, Google Chrome, Safari, that's what it actually interprets to generate the page that you see. So for example, here you have the mass schedule. That's how it looks like. But in the background, this is what the browser really interprets, so it's nothing like what you see. But you don't really need to know any of these languages to create a website. I'm just making you aware. You'll hear these terms and you'll hear these things. Because many of the web builders that I mentioned earlier are called WYSIWYGs. They're, what you see is what you get. Yeah, so, like you just click and drag here and it will tell you. And it'll generate the code for you once you put what you want, and it'll generate it for you. Sometimes it's useful, though, to know a little bit of HTML because it's, like if you want to make something bold or something, if you want to make some certain changes, it's good to know how to do those things. But again, you can do it with a interface that is usually provided. So it's not essential. Again, so like I mentioned earlier, St. Luke's uses a content management system called CMS Made Simple. A content management system, CMS, is a computer application that allows publishing, editing, and modifying content, organizing, deleting, as well as maintenance from a central interface. So it's very useful for if several people are taking care of the website, because you go to a web page and that's where you change things. It's not in a particular person's computer, or it's not, tied to one place. So you can have several people going to the site and making, like if one person is taking care of this page, then he or she can go there or whatever. So it's quite useful to have a CMS. And it has these features, like it's SEO is search engine optimization friendly. URL, and it's basically like when they Google you, you'll be up there, Then it also has integrated and online help. It has modules, and it's it's very easy, and it can for group management, and you have group-based permission system. Okay, it also starts with like templates. What do you call this? And it it'll tell you this is where your welcome message should go. It'll you add whatever information you want here. You can add. So it tells you as you learn how to use it. It'll tell you what you want to do. Yeah.
So does the template from the CMS replace the templates that you may be using on WordPress, or
No. CMS, does the template from CMS it replaces WordPress. You use the templates from CMS. Yeah, instead of using WordPress as your web builder, then you use CMS as your Made Simple as your web builder. Yeah.
but you could use WordPress?
Yes, it's free. Yes.
You could use WordPress.
You could use, well, then if you use WordPress templates, and you use the WordPress engine, and you use everything, so you stick with one and the other. Yeah, the only difference with something like CMS is that, okay, all right. CMS is like a bit more involved, and it has more features, and you can customize it more. So, and you can automate a lot more things. So for example, like this whole section for what's new, it's a module on CMS. And basically what you do is when you open the page for it, then it says title, put your title there, you put your summary there, you put the content here, you put the posting date, you can put when you want it to start, when you want it to end, and it'll just appear already on the page. And it's automatic, So then when you click on the like we say here, click on the title to read more. So when you click on the title, then it'll give you the whole big thing. So, these are all automated stuff. So I'm not sure if all the others have that also, but they do have different features. But CMS Made Simple, you have to spend more time to learn it, but you'll be able to do more with it. Yeah. So again, how much time you need to spend. Okay. So other things that you need to consider during planning. Okay, so who is your audience, and what is your main purpose? Is it to inform current parishioners, to welcome, or to evangelize? So, what your content will determine, your audience and who you want to reach will determine the focus of your content. So, it's something that you should be thinking about as you're doing your planning. And secondly, what is the approval process for this project? The policies regarding updating content cannot be too onerous or too bureaucratic. It cannot be too complicated or centralized. The webmaster and ministry experts mentioned earlier should be empowered to make changes and decisions. I know the website is the face of the parish, and it should reflect the character of the parish, so we have to be careful about what gets posted. But then if you have, what do you call this? I had to work with a pastor before, and he wanted to approve everything before it went on the site. So it always took longer, and eventually I didn't have much to do, basically. But also you can have pastors that have that just want everything, even things from other parishes or other, communities, then it gets a bit too much too. So, you have to work with these ministry experts, and you have to know like who to approach. There should be communication, basically, that make sure that the content is really something that reflects the parish. Okay, where am I now? Yeah, you get to encounter all kinds of personalities as you deal with all these ministry experts, and it's fun and challenging.
Marie, it's okay, we've been in church for a while.
Yeah. That's true. Anyway, so again, the next thing is it should be clear who has the responsibility for updating the content. I mean, as webmaster, you have enough to do. You don't want to have to run after people, so they should be the ones to go to you and tell you, I should change this. But again, personality, some of them will keep on bombarding you with all sorts of updates, and, the smallest thing they put up. But the others, like you have the Christmas thing still up in September, and it's already time to put Christmas stuff again, yes.
On that point of updating, is there a cycle? Like, we will issue an email out to all ministry leads every 3 months to say, okay, is there a need to fundamentally review the content that you have on the website regarding this is what your ministry is about, these are the kind of volunteer requirements you have, and so on.
Okay, so if basically you're asking if webmaster has to run after these people, because if you want to send them.
To enable people to recognize, yeah, this is when we
Yeah.
have to do to regularize the updating.
Again, it depends on each parish. Depending on your cycle. I mean, generally, like for Faith First stuff, then it gets updated in September or sometime in summer. So, and some like CWL, where is Rosa here? Like I think they have their president's election in December. So, that's when they have to update their stuff. So, yeah, it depends.
Just with some ministries,
Yeah.
it may not, might be the same committee year after year after year after
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's the same people, nothing ever changes.
Yeah.
In terms of the content per se, maybe it's more, we'll say, at the margins in terms of this is what's happening next month with, this event. We're doing a collection for the social committee or something, or the social outreach committee, I should say. Things like that. Like I can see where I'm trying to tie it into the planning.
Yes.
Various ministries would be doing throughout the year. I would hope maybe that doesn't always happen, but anyways, it's a huge topic.
It is, yeah. Anyway, yeah, the cycle, again, it's really, that's why I'm saying it should be coming from them rather than from you running after them.
The responsibility
Yes.
of each group in the church to send her the information, tell her this is what is going to happen, or this is what's being changed in my group. She cannot
Yeah.
be running after everybody. If we have an election, we have a new president, a new executive, starting in January, we have to send her the list, and then she will publish it in January. This is the new executive of the Catholic Women League in San Lucas.
I think what's
Yes.
key for me is the administrator functions in the CMS platform, like you just mentioned, but I know you can also do it in WordPress. If you have 5 key people who can administer the site, can go in, change content and so on.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I think, systematizing the timing of those changes.
Yes, exactly.
Customized on the individual.
That's why I'm saying it should be customized to the parish, updating, and not even each parish, but also each organization, customizing it in the cycle and whatever. It really is. That's why you really need a team of people. Not one person can't keep track of all these things and keep on sending emails or contacting these people.
Some churches have calendars on their website
Yes.
for many months, maybe even a whole year. Some
Okay.
don't. So this why it'd be great. Like I know some organizations, CWL, Knights of Columbus, they plan out well in advance. This is what we're going to do. We're going to offer these dinners or these events throughout the year. So having the website to reflect that kind of planning would be great.
Okay, I have something about the calendar thing.
Great.
It'll be later. Okay, yeah, all right.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
In terms of for the updating the content, is that something that the CMS does somewhat automatically? I remember there was a field there with end date will it automatically, let's say, for example, when January comes, take off the Christmas?
No, what you do, like for example, that where are we now? This one here?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I fill this in. So supposing like Parish Vitality, by tonight it's going to be gone.
Okay,
Because,
so
you
it'll
know,
take off automatically.
yeah,
You
it'll
set it
take
when
it
you do
off.
it, but you have
Yeah.
to go remember afterwards. to go
No,
back.
no, you don't have to go back to take it out. It will, you set it. Yeah, you can even, like you were saying, there's an event, but it's way ahead. You can prepare the slide or the content for it and then just tell it to start on, you know, whenever you want it. Yeah, yeah. So that's why, I mean, taking it off, you'll forget. I guarantee.
I know just automating the
Yeah,
updates,
yeah,
so-
yeah, which is, that's a nice feature that, you know, these modules have. So it's worth the time to learn, you know, yeah, because it's nice. Okay, so, all right, where are we now? What else did I say? Okay. Oh, so again, we were saying who will be making the actual changes. Yeah, so you can have like several people access the admin page, but it's still better to limit it because you don't want, you know, conflicts will arise. You can guarantee that. So you just have to, again, that's part of planning, who will be responsible. And the thing is, if you have too many people also, like, oh, I thought she was going to do it, you know, you can get into that situation too. So yeah, like who is responsible is really important. Yeah. Okay. So now we go to the next section, which is writing for the web. Okay. So there have been studies that have been conducted tracking the eye movements of those reading web pages. So they've found that viewers generally follow an F-shaped pattern. So as you can see here, like they usually look like a top, you know, the top thing here. Then maybe they'll go down a bit and go to the next thing, you know. See, so it's a basic F pattern, and then they usually don't read down in the bottom anymore. You know, or sometimes they can see like if you have like a column here, then you know, see the eye goes there, like you can that, you know, it's just useful to know. So okay, so that's, you know, so when you write for your page, you keep that in mind. The back end of a lot of websites, they provide a number of interesting statistics, and one of the tables shows how long visitors stay on a page. So here you can see that on the Beckett site, 90%, over 90%, they just stay for 0 to 30 seconds. They just want to find the mass schedule, and that's it, and then they leave. So on the St. Luke's site, it's a bit better. You know, it's 75% that stay there for 0 to 30 seconds, but some of them stay longer. So what do we conclude about these statistics? Users are impatient. They don't like to read. They look for clues to help them do what they want to do, and above all, they don't want to work to find what they want. So you have to keep this in mind when you write. And what do they want? It's just the facts. Information presented clearly and concisely. It should be skimmable, you know, so that's why you have bold, you know, like the what, when, and where bolded. And it should be, if it's not right there, it should be easy to, you know, they should know right away how to find it, you know. Okay. So knowing this, writing for the web should follow the inverted pyramid paradigm. Remember the F pattern in the eye tracking study, so you see the first thing there. So the purpose and most important info should be clearly stated at the top of the page. Then you can add the main details, and finally the secondary details, which are not essential to go, and they should go in the bottom, because most likely they won't be read by the viewers. But those who are really interested will make the effort to read through them. So you should still put them in. It's not like you shouldn't put them at all. Yeah, so that's an interesting, you know, important thing to think about. So okay, now we'll focus now our attention on some design elements. Okay, so first of all, like we said in the very beginning, an effective website should be easy to navigate, must be visually appealing, and must contain interesting, accurate, and timely content. Not long ago, the homepage of many sites were dominated by a big, beautiful image of the church or the parishioners. Then that was it. You had to search for where the mass schedule was. You had to look for who the pastor was. You had to. Now people are fast, fast, fast. They want everything right away. So and it's useful to you know. So you have everything right there. You can have a banner, you know, like this, but not big anymore like how it used to be. And it's good to have them in columns, yeah, because it's hard to, like, you remember that F pattern, like they don't normally look here anymore. So it's easier to read when they're in shorter, yeah. So, oh yeah, you divide them into columns to create bite-sized chunks of information. Headings and titles clearly give the viewers an idea of the content. And you can have multiple levels of menus. Menus can be horizontal, or they can be vertical, or a combination of both. And you can group similar items together. So like here, it's all the sacraments. And it's better to keep your menu short, like 8 to 10 items, so it's not like way long like that. Okay. Other design suggestions. Italicized text is hard to read, so don't use it too much. And bold text is irritating also when it's in large doses. So you want to draw their attention to something, but if everything is bold, then it defeats its purpose, right? And another guideline is you never use all caps text in the body of the text or in the title, because it seems like you're screaming at the person. So you use bold. Okay. Adding a sidebar brings down the width of the page also. Like I said earlier, you can add a sidebar. And images can be eye-catching, and they help to break up the page. So yeah, don't just have all text. Nice to have images. So in a nutshell, okay, you cut your web writing down to digestible chunks. Don't use unnecessary words and cut out jargon. Keep sentences and paragraphs brief and to the point, and use headers, subheaders, and bulleted lists. Bulleted lists, apparently, they also attract attention. So yeah, you can see. We have bulleted lists here, too. I follow what I preach. All right, so website musts. The home page is very important. It's like the front door to your house or the lobby to the hotel. So it's essential that you impart a welcoming atmosphere to all the viewers, both parishioners and visitors. It should address the needs and answer the most common questions asked by visitors to the site. And what are these questions? Obviously, it's the mass schedule. You have the contact info for the church. Office hours should be readily accessible. And if you decide to have a welcome video, keep it under 90 seconds. I don't have a welcome video, so yeah. Yeah, your map and direction should be easy to get to, and include bus accessibility, so everyone can get there. And especially like if they have a funeral or something, that's when they go to maps and directions, because people who are not from that parish, they usually check. Okay, the staff page is one of the most visited pages. Pictures of staff are welcoming. And people like to put a face to a name, or, when they talk to somebody, then at least they can check the website sometime. A lot of people do check the website to see who they're talking to and what the person looks like. Yeah, you make sure you, oops, wait a minute, there. You make sure you indicate, the title or position, the contact info, and other pertinent details about each person. So the sacraments page is also one of the most visited. So you can include the info in the site, like the requirements, the schedule, fees, procedures, wedding and funeral readings, other frequently asked questions. Having all this info saves a lot of time and effort and provides clarity. So I mean, a lot of the time now, people don't bother calling. Like if they see the schedule of baptism is not. It doesn't work for them. They just don't call. So it saves the secretaries and and then having to deal with accents maybe or something. Then they can read it at their own time. So it's good to have everything already there on the website. Yeah. Other important sections are the Faith First or Faith Transmission pages, Bulletin or What's New, organizations and parish groups, which should include a description of the different activities available to the community and the contact persons for each of these activities. So, any questions so far? So good, okay. All right, so now miscellaneous tips. Okay, despite what this t-shirt says, You really should learn to take advantage of the wealth of information that is available in Google. You should, yeah, just use Google. Google anything. It will tell you what, where, when, why, how to do things. You know, it will give you all the images, clip art or whatever images. It'll tell you how to solve certain problems. And it's practically everything. You can find it there. But I know it takes like some type of practice to learn how to ask in Google, how to, but usually like if you say it out, then type it first, and then it'll give you suggestions, and then you can go from there, or, you know, go to the top thing on the Google page, and yeah, you know, it'll bring you to wherever, and eventually your question will be answered. It'll help you out. A thing though that you have to remember when you have images, if you're taking images from the internet, is copyright issues. You know, yeah, if it says like copyright there, then don't use it, you know, because it's a public site that you're using it for. It's not a private, you know, like your own homepage or something. Then, yeah, you just have to be more careful. Yes. Sites where you have free images, there are tons and tons and tons of them. Google whatever. So for example, Christmas borders. Oh, you'll find a lot of, you know, so it depends. Or if you, yeah, again, it's choosing the right keywords, you know, try different keywords and you'll find different things. Yeah, and you know there's an images on Google, like you can have just maps, you can have just images, so yeah.
Will the web site server have security built in that you are not going to have your website hacked?
They try. The website server, will the website server have security? That's her question, because that's my second yeah, security issues. And who was it that was saying, yeah, it's a tricky question, because I'm sure a lot of you have had your emails hacked or know someone whose email has been hacked. They're just so good at it, you know. It's very hard to prevent it completely, but most website servers are, you know, they try to be on the ball. Like I know for our server, we've had problems now where we've been blocked, like our email addresses have been blocked because we send out bulk email, like, you know, for Faith First, and they consider it spam, so they block us. So they've become more strict about the, you know, the use of the email with the Beckett.ca or stluke.ca, you know, domain name on it. So it's an ongoing thing, and it's really, that's a hard, yeah, annoying, but it's a reality. And the other thing here is we have to back up your site, because if you're the company that's hosting your site goes bankrupt or something, you won't have access to your site. You don't want to have to rebuild the whole thing, so you have to back it up. You have to, you know, have your own, and regularly too, just like with your own files. I don't know if you guys do that, but you should. Okay. So now this is the web calendar. Yeah, so like what I was saying earlier, the website should be more than just a corporate info sheet. If you want people to visit your website, you should give them a reason to visit it. You should provide info and services that are not readily available in the bulletin or the parish announcements. And something that has been very, very useful for both Beckett and St. Luke's is this web calendar. It's not clear because it's really big, you know, but it takes, it's basically just a calendar of events, and the rooms, they're color-coded, and what rooms and what time that each event is. So it helps also, like when you enter an event on the web calendar, it'll tell you if there's a conflict. So, you know, it's been very, very helpful. And they used to do it like on paper. So if you had a recurring event, you had to put it in every week. Oh, I've changed my mind from Tuesday to Wednesday. So on paper, they had to erase each and every one and put it again. This one with the web calendar, there's a repeating events thing, and you just change it once and it'll change it for all. Yeah, so.
With the calendar here, so I'm just going to tell you about my church, which is, say, the old style, right? In the office, the secretary has the book with all the different events that are happening, who's requesting what room when.
Mm-hmm.
With this approach, who trying to understand if this is just the publication side, or is it also the reservation side? So, because I said with the secretary, she reserves it.
They do that, yeah, the secretary at St. Luke's.
So the
They're
secretary
the-
reserves it and then sends you the information?
No, 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 she updates this.
Okay, so
Yeah,
she
and
reserves it
actually
and
there's
posts it.
several people that, like for the web calendar, we have the Faith First people, they can put in their own events because there's too many, you know. So instead of, before they used to have to send it to the secretary and the secretary would enter it. Now they put it in themselves. So they can change, again, because that's the nice thing about the website.
The approval for reserving the room, how does that come into play?
If it used to be the secretary, then it's still the secretary.
First, you mentioned it,
Oh, the Faith First, because like for both parishes, they have first digs on everything. So we wait for them to enter their stuff, and then everybody else will follow. Yeah. Okay.
So the initial calendar, where's it kept, like on Google Calendar, or where does the secretary keep the calendar?
It's online. It's all online.
But not on the website.
On the website.
On the website.
On the website. Yes.
This
Yes.
is CMS.
This is yes. No, this was actually.
It's a web calendar.
It's an application that was part of the web hosting company. In fact, was the one that, you know, it's one of the freebies.
It's an
Yeah.
application that you can install.
It's
So
an
did they-
application.
Did they eliminate the book?
Yes, in fact they did. Yeah, they ended up eliminating the book. Yeah,
One
because
of the uses of this is that if we plan an event, we have the facility to go to the calendar all the month and check out which room is available. And then, like, for the groups that do not have access, then they can go to the secretary and tell them, well, you know, we need this room this day, and that room is available. And then she will
Yeah.
book it for you.
But you have to develop like priorities, who gets first dibs?
yeah,
which
yeah,
ones,
yeah, exactly. I mean, masses, obviously, baptisms, then, you know, but again, before, like if you had the church, sometimes somebody's just practicing on one side and the other one is just setting up something. They can have, yeah. So again, it's depending on your parish and the event, then, but conflicts still arise. As, you know, it's a church. What do you expect? It's part of it. Yeah, but it really has saved a lot of time and effort. Now, like people who want a particular room for a particular event or time, they check, oh, there's nothing available. Then they don't even bother calling the secretary, you know. Or else if they, you know, they know who it is, then maybe they approach the person and see, can we do this, negotiate or whatever, you know. But at least it's there, yeah, and it's available to everybody. Yeah, so that one is a very good application. Okay, so like I said earlier, images play an important role in the website. So clip art help adorn a page, while people pictures invite viewers to the site. So there are three things to consider when working with images. Images come in either GIFs, JPEGs, or PNGs for web. The difference is the resulting image. Each one has its own place for use in websites. GIF images are great for creating very low resolution files, like your icons, and, you know, like the small logos. You typically use a GIF for simple logos, icons, or symbols. Using a GIF for photos is not recommended because GIFs are limited to 256 colors. In some cases, you can use even less. So the less colors that you have in your image, the smaller the file size, so it will load up faster. JPEGs can be relatively small in size, but they still look crisp and beautiful, and this is what you have for your usual people or, you know, nice photographs. And they support up to 16.7 million colors, which makes them the right choice for complex images and photographs. JPEGs images can also be used to print print files as well. Although you have to be careful because for the web, usually 72 dpi dots per inch is enough for, and it'll still look nice, you know, on the web, and it makes the file size smaller. But for printing, if you print something that's 72 dpi, it's going to be all pixelated and blurry. So you just have to make sure that if it's going to be for printing, then it's 300 dpi at least. PNG files are lossless, which means that they do not lose quality during editing. This is unlike JPEGs where they lose quality. So PNG files tend to be larger than JPEGs because they contain more information but are lossless. So PNG files do not support animation. So for this purpose, you use a GIF. Yeah, the other thing you have to, anyway, there's a link there. I just took it off of there. So yeah, the other thing, oh yeah, okay, so there's the resolution. The other thing you have to be careful about when working with images is the aspect ratio. Most of the time, like, you know, for cameras or whatever, it's 4 inches this way and 3 by this way. But then if you have landscape, then it's 16 by 9. So you can end up with, if you have a photo that's meant for 4 by 3 and you put it 16 by 9, then you end up with or the other way around where it's like so long and thin, and you don't want, like if your picture was up, you don't want it to be like that. Yeah. Okay. So there are other resources here. They're just, you know, just for West Island maybe, or not English parishes. You can put the Grapevine, which the Archdiocese puts out. I have created a schedule of masses for West Island parishes. You can put these on your website too, you know, and the others you can just go and check them out yourselves. YouTube, of course, for videos. There's the Faith First coordinator at Beckett found this Sign Up Genius, which it's a great site for getting people to sign up for a particular thing. And she said it's very easy to use and it's very useful. We've used Survey Monkey. We had a survey for one of our, you know, at the parish. And Survey Monkey was great. It was very easy. I don't know if any of you have seen the, what they call this, the 50th anniversary project that I had done for St. Luke's, where I had the picture of the church, and it was made up of small pictures of parishioners. And I used Andrea Mosaic for that, so, you know. The other thing is the guest book. Oh yeah, I should mention it. It's better not to have one. It's yeah, largely because it's so easy to hack, and you'll end up having so many of these, you know, Viagra links and whatever on it. So and I've found, like, not in the beginning, maybe you'll have a few entries, but eventually, like, I haven't had an entry in the guest book for 3 years, so it's not worth the hassle in terms of the security, you know. So, okay. And I guess, I'm making it to the end. All right. So, in conclusion, you know, I know setting up a website is a daunting task. It's really not just a job. It's a ministry. And just like any other ministry, it has its challenges and its rewards. It has enabled me to meet so many wonderful people. And it's pushed me to learn new things. I mean, like I said, I didn't have any training whatsoever. So, yeah, but it's been fun. It's been really quite rewarding. And it feels good to be doing a service to the community. Recently, Father Marco at Beckett, he told me that a lady had approached him and said that she had not been to church in 50 years. The last time was when she was a teenager, and now that she's getting older, you know, she was trying to seek the Lord. And she said, so she looked through all the websites in the different parishes, you know, and she saw the Beckett website, and it was because of the website that she decided to go to Beckett. So, yeah. No, it wasn't me though. I'm sure it was because of Father Marco's introductory video, but you know, at least, yeah, it feels good. So anyway, yeah, so don't be discouraged. You never know who you will be touched by your efforts and how they will be affected. Okay. So here's Jack.
All right, thanks. And so don't forget, that will be on the beckett.ca website, all of this, along with her notes. So you don't have to remember Survey Monkey and like all of those. All right, let's go to me.
Jack, are you familiar with how the rebuilt people are using their website over and above what Maria might be doing with St. Luke or St. St.
Thomas
or
à Becket.
Thomas à Becket?
I went to their website once when I read the book
Okay. Mhm.
6 months ago.
Okay.
So I went to their website,
Yeah.
and like they have their own welcome video
All
that
right.
they put on,
Mhm.
right on. But so does Father Marco, you know.
Yes.
So I think in terms of social media, in the first book, anyway, Rebuilt, they kind of say that we have a long way to go still on social media.
Okay.
And you know, so
So
they've
still in process.
they've done the processes within the church, you know, building on the hall, having a cafe, you know, doing all their ministry stuff. But the next outreach, like you know, getting onto Facebook, they're still doing growing pains. You know, yeah,
Daily messages to you.
yeah. But it's still a learning process for them
Okay.
as well.
All right.
In terms of social media, it's you know a little bit different. And so one of the sources I went to was United States Conference on Catholic Bishops. They kind of talk specifically about social media and looking at 3 categories: visibility, community, and accountability. So visibility, how do we want to engage with all those people out there? So there's different platforms that people know about now. There's Facebook, there's LinkedIn, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's Pinterest. How is it that we want to extend ourselves out there? And then it involves community. And so just show of hands, how many people have Facebook personally? You're on Facebook. You know, when you're on Facebook and you get your friends and you start seeing who's posting what, and you know, you can connect and join little groups and, oh, my high school reunion or whatever, but it's building community. And you kind of look out there and say, oh yeah, that friend that I haven't seen in decades, I'm still kind of connected to them. And I can see, oh, there's their kids. And you know, you're building community using a platform like Facebook. Accountability. One of the things about Facebook and social media is it's a two-way street. You know, someone posts something, you can like it. You know, oh, I like what they said there. Or you can disagree. And so the same thing can happen on your church Facebook page. Somebody can pipe in and say, that was the worst homily I've ever heard. You know, and they can post that. And so it depends, you know, you're going to have to moderate those.
It has to be anonymous.
Well, no. The thing is, if they're posting on Facebook, you know who said it. Their icon is there, you know. So it's building community, but, you know, there's accountability to that. You're kind of, you know, you're putting yourself out there into that community. It's just something to be aware of. So when we look at an actual church parish Facebook page, there's a way to do it that's, I don't want to say right and wrong, but there's, you know, there's 2 ways to do it. All of us that are on Facebook personally, we've gone on and we created ourselves, and we're a person, and you know, you put in your name, you can say where you work, you can, you know, and then you start looking for friends, you know, or you know, a friend request. You send out the friend requests. Those are called, that's your user profile. So first thing, even before the parish would have a Facebook page, you need someone who's going to be the admin to be on Facebook. You can't create a parish page without someone already being on Facebook to create it, okay? So as a person, I have a user profile. Now, when Facebook first started and the early churches were just getting onto Facebook themselves saying, yeah, this is a good way to go out and do it, some people created their church, their parish, as a person. Okay, so because you would kind of go on and say, oh, okay, the first name will be Saint, you know, and then the last name will be Thomas à Becket, you know, or whatever. And then you create like that. When you create your parish page like that, that means it's like it's a person. So then you have to ask to be their friend, and that whole process. Eventually, Facebook created this thing called fan pages. So, you know, out in the media, like, you know, Celine Dion has a fan page, and you can like Celine Dion. You're not asking to be your friend. You're liking her fan page. That's the same thing parishes do. You create a fan page for your parish, and then you invite people to like it. And when people like your page, then what happens is, as a parish, when you say, oh, we got this event next week, those people that liked you will get messages in their news feed. Okay, so it's a slightly different nuance from creating it as a person. So for example, I don't want to pick on anybody. Is anybody from John Brebeuf here? I'm sorry.
I'm also not on Facebook.
Okay. So, because what I did pre-conference was I went and looked at every parish to kind of see who's got Facebook, who's got, you know, a website, who's on what, and I took screenshots. So John Brebeuf is set up as a person. Okay, so it's like add a friend. So we all know that because we do it, you know. So I'm going to say that's not the preferred way, okay, to do that. The preferred way would be like John Fisher or any, you know, most of the other ones, where you like their page because they're set up as an organization. And when you set it up that way, it's a religious organization. Okay, so that's a whole new thing that Facebook has done since it first started. When you go on and create your page, you can say, well, what am I? Am I a singer? Am I a company? Am I whatever? And one of the categories is religious organization. So it's meant for churches to do this.
One of the drawbacks of the, I found, maybe I'm just not seeing a particular functionality on when you go the organization route, is that you can't go out and seek friends until you've had at least 30 people come to your page and like it. So you're kind of in a passive mode in the organizational stage to have people seek you out. It's much more challenging to actually reach out in the way you can in the user profile to friend requests.
So the question is, how do you get people to like your page? Because there's that initial part where you're up,
Yeah.
but nobody's liked you. And so how do you get likes? So as the admin, you have your 100 friends, you know, or your other people on your parish council or the youth choir. You know, there's that initial thing where you can say, and if you share it personally, you know, then you get the likes. Or what we do at St. Luke's is pre-Mass, we actually project pre-Mass for people that are there 5-10 minutes early. We project ads on the wall. That's basically the bulletin, but on the wall. And so, the CWL has their general meeting November the 15th. You know, it's on the wall. So as you're sitting there, and it just grows every, you know, it stays up for 12 seconds, and then it goes to the next one. And one of those in there is, like us on Facebook. You know, so people sitting in the pews go, oh, okay, let me pull out my phone, and I'm going to like, you know, the community. And so it's a challenge to get likes. You know, this is, you know, they've got 109 likes. You know, so that's kind of the goal, is to get that up.
What you were talking about, 5-10 minutes before Mass that you do the promotion?
Yep.
Do you get any feedback from people that this is a place of worship, I want to focus on the presence of our Lord? And
No,
not
actually.
distracted by the,
Not at St. Luke's. Anyway, our dynamic is that there's actually usually quite a bit of buzz in the sanctuary before Mass, all the chatter and all of that, and you know, we just quiet down when the bells ring, because it's actually 9 o'clock. You know, yeah. As it's actually, that's our tradition, is people are kind of there, and it's very social, and we're all in there, and then when it's like 9 o'clock, because it's the 9 o'clock Mass, bells ring, and then the procession starts, and everybody kind of knows, oh, yeah. And it's just because some people, you know, so rather than read the bulletin during the homily, you can see it before Mass. You know, it's just, and so some people, and even some people like, oh, I can't read like this, but when it's on the wall and it's huge and the font is 50, you know, and it's written, they can see things better, you know, so. Anyway, in terms of a Facebook page, it is the best option. And all of the stuff that I'm not making it up, it's from Catholic Web Solutions, the same source that Maria talked about. Sister Susan Wolf. I get emails from her like every couple of weeks, you know, because I subscribe to her blog. And she's always giving you these hints. Everything I'm going to show you about Facebook comes from Sister Susan and her blog about this is the best practice to do if your parish is going to be doing this. One of the good things about having it also as a page is you get emails. If you're the admin, every week I get emails from Facebook saying, oh, you got 3 new likes and, you know, 46 views or, you know, 250 if it's something really big like the priest getting dunked by ice. Checklist. Does the About section of your Facebook page include your website URL? So there's a lot of interconnectivity that's going to go on. On your website that Maria just showed, I was going to jump up at one point. When you had the picture of the Beckett page, the home page of Beckett that had the mass schedule up here and, you know, at the bottom under the address was a little Facebook icon. So, and you've seen that on everybody goes to a website and, oh, you know, here we are on Facebook, here we are on LinkedIn. It's just that connection. So on one side it's, yeah, on your Facebook, have a little like us on Facebook clip. And then conversely, on your Facebook page, show them where the website is. You know, it's just to have that. And again, it's not rocket science. We all do it in real life, just not with the parish websites. We're, you know, looking up people we like or companies or whatever. Is your cover photo unique to your parish? On Facebook, we all have pictures, you know, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. The cover photo description, I actually, you know, didn't do this on our own Facebook page, and only when I was building the presentation. And I thought, oh yeah, the description, that's, because sometimes when you're in Facebook and you click on a picture, it shows you what it's about. Sometimes in Facebook, I'll put a new picture, and I don't put a description. I never even think about it. I know. And so there's an opportunity, because, you know, Joe parishioner or Joe non-parishioner might click on the picture and want to see, oh, that was from the multicultural event. And I didn't explain it. I just put up the picture. So I just have a bunch of different examples. These are, you know, this is on Facebook, the profile, right? It's 851 pixels by 315. That's that space at the top of your Facebook, you know, your profile. We all have them personally. So that's just the size that you have to work with. And you can put different things up there, like pictures, you know, of something. And then it's also an opportunity. Join us for something. So if something's coming up, it's a commercial. You know, you can kind of put on there. Now, and if they click on the picture and you've put the description, they'll get more stuff if you remember to put the description. So I just have some different ones in there. Christmas, I took a picture of the creche, you know, Happy Easter. And I build a library, and then as time goes by, you can just go back and get last year's Advent one and throw it up again, you know. Lent, we're a bilingual parish, by the way, so I'm always doing both. And to try and get away from, like, I try and make my own, if I can. Like, just, you know, grab a background. It's hard to see, it's in purple. But, you know, I've made it bilingual. I'm always, when I'm doing these pictures, conscious that this corner is actually going to be taken up by the square. You know, that's usually where our face is, if it's our personal page, and you've got your own profile. So, when, you know, I never put text over here, because I know it's going to get big superimposed by the logo, or the picture of the church, or whatever you've chosen to be your churches. So just kind of be aware of that, because you don't want to have something with somebody's face here, and then it gets clobbered in real life when you look at the picture.
Sorry, I'm a little confused.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get context.
Yeah, where it is?
Yes.
Let me get to, I'll just whip through different ones. So I'll get to it, because I have samples. You know, does it look like your parish is? Does it speak? Well, you're going to get the slides of all of this. How you engage you back. Here it is. That's this. So here, it's a picture of leaves. So maybe it's fall, you know, and so it kind of, but it's up to you as to what do you want to do with that space. It could be more than leaves. You know, it could be a picture of the bazaar, or, you know, whatever it is that you wanted to say. Now, that being said, it sounds like I'm dissing on St. Willibrod's. I've got them there because they're the best ones. This is the best use of a parish. Is anybody from Willibrod's? Oh, well, they don't need to be here because they've already got it going. As I was kind of looking at how are we all doing our Facebook pages, and I kept coming to St. Willibrod's, these guys have it happening. Whoever's in charge of their Facebook page is on it. You know, maybe, you know, like they are posting all the time. Their person is really dedicated, you know, and they've got way more likes than any other parish on the island. You know, they're really happening. So I put that up, and here's that, you know, again, when it's that image, that's the 851 by 315, there's the square that's, you know, gonna be there, you know, so you don't want a club or somebody's head if they're in that corner.
So the big one you would change and the little one stays the same all the time?
Generally, because often this, like in this case, it's a picture of the church or the logo or whatever. As it in personal life, that would be usually it's somebody's face or their cat or, you know, like whatever they've chosen to put forward as their image. But then often this changes depending on if they've gone on vacation or whatever, you know, you post that. So this is ours at St. Luke's. So there's Maria and Rico. Embarrassed that I put them up there. And there's our pastor getting dunked by ice. Yeah, that's from Multicultural. So what I do sometimes is, and it's a little bit out of date, but I just really wanted to leave it up for today's presentation. This is from like Labor Day weekend or the week after Labor Day. We had something called Multicultural Festival. So Multicultural happens, and there's like 100 photos that get taken. So I can pick and choose what pictures do I want and create this collage and fit it between the 815 by, you know, 851 by 318, whatever it is. And that becomes a cover. And there's no copyright issues. I took the pictures, or somebody did, you know, in my parish. And to create this kind of montage, it's a free Google app called Picasa that, you know, you load in your pictures, you know, give it the 15 or how many there are, and hit create collage. And it does it, you know, and I gave it the size, make it fit the Facebook size, and it makes it. And then, you know, the first time I did it, you guys were really actually bigger. And so I said, oh no, she'll hate it. You know, so you hit like redo, and and you just keep kind of spinning, and finally you get one that, okay, I like that. You know, like that's a good one. Save as a JPEG, and there you go. Yep.
Bradley Cooper visited your site?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper is my son, actually. We'd have a lot more than 162 likes if Bradley Cooper was. So yeah, so it's just, you know, different things you can do. And so for us, here on this corner, you know, that's our logo that we've chosen to put there. Some other examples, St. Kevin's, you know, they've got the logo. Anybody from St. Kevin's? Okay. So you got your logo, and then like a lovely, lovely picture of the interior of the church. So again, there's not going to be any copyright issues or whatever. And, you know, when someone gets drawn to the page, okay, well, I love that architecture. You know, I can see they project lyrics. You know, maybe I want to go to that mass.
It says Catholic Church instead of religious organization.
Yeah, so I don't know, maybe there's another category further in, you know, underneath religious organization. This is another bilingual one on the West Island. Jesus, light of the world. Anybody from JLo? Right. All right, so again, picture of the two buildings. You know, in the back they've got, it's hard to see, I think it says awesome God. But again, just, you know, in terms of, yep, they're following the procedure of being a page. So St. Edmund's is a fan page. Okay, they've set them up as the organization, the recommended way. They just haven't put in that big picture. So, you know, the logo's in there, but it's a little bit too big, you know, so it just needs to be resized to fit into the size of that box. So they're like on the way, you know, they've done it the right way. Really, all it's missing, if you were the editor of this, is to choose that photo that would give you that instead of the gray space at the top.
And it says church/religious organization.
Yeah, again, it might be in between when did it get created and what did Facebook call it at the time. St. Monica's, very similar. They're not taking advantage of all of the features in there. Because you know in real life, when we're on Facebook, you'll get a post and it'll say, oh, Maria changed her profile picture. That's what that is. Oh, so-and-so changed her profile picture, you know. But instead of being, you know, different grandkids, it's just another thing about the church. So that's what this area is.
So what's the cover picture and what's the profile?
So there's the cover picture and there's the, there's the,
Yeah, the cover photo.
Yeah, that's the cover.
yeah, cover and profile.
Okay,
But you will also get an update if you change the cover.
yeah.
So here's Becket. Sadly, Becket is a person. St. Thomas a Becket is a person. So, you know, yeah, that's it, you know. So best practice, according to Sister Susan, that should be changed to be a fan page.
Can you convert one to the other?
No, you would create a fan page. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, some quality control in the last 7 minutes. You know, who's your audience? And I get that on my insights. I know there's a certain demographic between 18 and 34. That's a big spike. And my other big spike is retired people on Facebook. You're building community. You're also driving traffic to the parish website. So the Facebook is not a duplication. I'm not posting mass schedules on Facebook, but they can see where the website is. You know, so it's a different thing. What will you post? It's kind of like having content on the website. You have to decide, what am I posting? Oh, we have the bazaar, maybe some pics of the bazaar, or there's some big event coming up. We're having some mission, because it's, you know, we're having our big mission. We're having people come in. You can advertise that on Facebook and send out reminders, you know. Maybe it's the day of. You can just post, don't forget tonight, you know, Father so-and-so, the mission. And off it goes, and then you can follow it, and you'll know, oh, see, you know, read by 42, read by... how often do you post? Now, so this is where I look at Willibrods and go, man, they're so good because they're on it, you know, and I can fault myself. I don't do so much, actually, at St. Luke's. You know, I kind of look at it and I'll go through lulls where I'm on it. You know, like, okay, I'm on it, I'm posting, you know, oh, we're doing this, oh, there's this coming up, I'm putting pics up, and but then real life gets in and I'm doing my real job. And, you know, like a month will go by, you know, and next thing, oh, I should post something. You know, and again, I'll get emails telling me, oh, you know, you haven't posted anything in a month. It reminds you.
When you refer to Willibrods, what frequency are you saying they're on it? Is it every day? How many times?
Well, I'll say several times a week.
Okay.
You know, it's not, you don't need to go crazy, especially because in most cases you're coming from nothing. you know. So, and you know, same thing at Facebook. You know, there's some friends that post too much.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need to know you went to Starbucks. You know, I don't need to see the picture of the Walmart door. You know, so same thing for the parish. You don't want people to go, oh my gosh, you know, look, there's another candle lit. Like, you don't want, you know, you're not down at that level of detail. But when there's things happening, like, oh, there's this, there's that, those are potential things that you can post.
Question?
Yeah.
Is it as easy to post, let's say, I think they have apps and stuff like that from your phone that you can use for regular personal Facebook?
Yeah.
Can you use those same apps to post to fan pages? Like
Sure.
as an administrator?
Yeah. As an admin, so the question is, can you like use your smartphone to do some of this stuff app-wise? And yeah, I have, you know, I have Facebook personally, but then because I'm also the admin of a church Facebook page, then it's suggested to download the Pages app to my phone. So now on my phone, I can either be me, Jack, or I can be St. Luke's on my phone and do that. So in terms of admin, you know, who's going to monitor? You can have multiple administrators on a fan page. If it's a person, like St. Thomas of Becket or like St. John Brebeuf, it's a person. So there's only one person who owns that, the one whose birthday is on October the 11th. Whereas if it's a fan page, I can be an admin, Rico can be an admin. You can kind of divvy it up. So if I'm in St. Lucia or something, then somebody else can, well, I mean, I could still get on in St. Lucia, but you know. How often are you going to change your cover photo? Yeah, it's just up to you. You can have no cover photo, you know, or you can change it as the seasons go, especially in the church. Advent's coming up, then it's Christmas, and then maybe there's a stewardship thing. You know, like there are seasons that kind of lend itself to just that refresh. Who can make posts? And I think that's it. Now I have a couple of extra things in the back. Yeah, 2 minutes left. Again, Catholic Web Solutions, Sister Susan, gotta love her. She put out a survey just 2 weeks ago. And she surveyed all the people who read her blog and say, okay, how many of you people that are reading my blog, tell me how you're doing it. Like, are you because you're the webmaster for a parish? Are you the webmaster for just a Christian organization? Are you a social media coordinator for a parish, for a Christian organization? So all the results came back in. And then she was asking them, what are you using on social media? 92% of the people are using Facebook for their parish, if they're the ones that answered it. Okay, so if I'm a parish, maybe I'm doing nothing in social media, but if I am doing something, what am I doing? 92% are doing Facebook. Then it drops. You know, how many people are using Twitter for their church? Not so many. You know, just dropped down to that 60%. And Twitter, again, it's on the personal life. It's just, you know, little short bursts of, you know, Tom Dowd does it all the time. You see him, he's on Twitter. I follow him on Twitter, and you see his thing. And by the way, I'm just saying Tom Dowd like that because I knew him when he was a little guy. And he came to my house because him and his brother and sister were part of my youth group when he was a kid. So I attribute his priesthood and his bishophood to, you know. So blogging, 53%, like Sister Susan. She has a blog that we subscribe to. You know, having your church on YouTube drops down. Pinterest is pictures, posting pictures. And then Google Plus is another new kind of a social media platform. So really, we focused on today, in terms of Parish Online 101, the website and Facebook. 92% of people that are using social media at all, it's Facebook is the medium. Okay? And I think that's it. Just some resources. You've heard a couple of things. Becket with 1T.ca. And when you spell out St. Luke, it's st-luke.ca. Okay, and these are all things when you're doing your own, finding your domain name. you need to look and see, oh gosh, St. Aloysius has already been taken, but not St. Aloysius. You know, so you'll find what's the real name that's going to be unique to you. Catholic Web Solutions, that's Sister Susan, that we use a lot. And then if you need to email Maria, she's webmaster at St. Luke, and I'm Cooper Graham 5.
I'm also webmaster at Beckett.ca.
Yeah. And again, so the two real key ones, if you're only going to remember two things, or even one, just remember Beckett.ca, because all of this content will be posted
Under
there.
the sources page.
Okay? And that's it.